Well, good morning and welcome to this morning's reflection. And we continue looking at discerning God's will. When it comes to discerning God's will, it is important to begin from a place of gratitude. Gratitude for what we have. Our gifts, our resources, and the work that God has already done in our lives, the journey that we have already walked. For this discernment is part of all that has gone before, and it will be part of all that is to come. And so we come realizing that God is on this journey with us and that He has always been on this journey with us. And this discernment is just part of the journey. So once we've come with a sense of gratitude for what is and for what has been, we can then take the next step, which is to be gratefully available. Being gratefully available to whatever God's will might be. Being gratefully available to whatever God's will might be. In other words, we can't come to discernment with our own agenda. We have to come open to God's agenda. Ignatius called this grateful availability, he called it indifference. Now this is not to be confused with an uncaring indifference, but rather this indifference is a passion for the will of God and for the good of all. If we are indifferent, it is because we care so much about serving God that we are willing to take on anything. And we are willing to give up anything for the purposes of serving God. This doesn't mean that we ignore our God-given desires, but rather we tap into our deepest desires, which are to praise, reverence, and serve God. And when we tap down into those very deep desires, which are God-given, we will not prefer health over sickness. We can be indifferent to that. Riches over poverty. We can be indifferent to that. Honor over dishonor. A long life over a short life, and so on. If God wills it, we will do it. So why is indifference important? Because if we are not indifferent, we unconsciously steer the discernment towards the option that we really want. I'm trying to decide perhaps if I should go to Cape Town or Punt Sonnewater. My inclination will be Cape Town. And so I must be able to hold those two and be indifferent to the outcome of the discernment. It matters not which one I go to. So, if I have place A to go to or place B, emotionally I may want A. Emotionally I may want Cape Town. But in prayer, I tap into my gifts and my desire to serve God in a way that brings God the glory. And we choose that which aids us in achieving the end for which we have been created, and that is to praise, reverence, and serve God. So in that instance, I may see that going to Pinsonderwater might fulfill my calling and God's purposes more than my desire to go to Cape Town. Our inclinations, though, are not bad, and they may come from the true spirit and could be important in discerning God's will. And so we may need to spend time praying over which we would rather do, but only later on in the discernment process. But for now, we want to be sure we are standing on our foundation, reminding ourselves who we are in God, and we want to see our actions in the much larger context of God's actions in the world. Only after we have grounded ourselves in this deeper purpose of life can we then look at our inclinations. And so as we come to the process of discernment, we come knowing at our core what our calling is, what our purposes of life are, and what is most valuable to us. We come with the knowledge that God has led us to this point, and we come deeply grateful for that journey. And then we come indifferent to the outcome of the discernment, not having a secret wish that it'll turn out a particular way. We have to be able to let go and follow God's lead. If we can do that, we can continue with the process of discernment, which we will look at tomorrow. Amen.